Hey guys, Eric here, and today's problem is we have a leak under the sink. The leak is with our garbage disposal, so our garbage disposal at this point needs to be replaced. So today I'm going to walk you guys through how to do that. You don't need a plumber for this job, so let's get started. So the garbage disposal that we have in there is the one that came with the house. So I'm not actually sure how old it is. But what I do know is that the bottom has kind of rotted out and it is dripping water. We put a pan down there, I don't know if you can see it, with like a rag here to kind of soak up the water as it drips down. It's been dripping for a couple days now, but we only noticed it yesterday. We don't exactly know how long this leak has been going on, but it's been going on, I would say, at least a month. So after troubleshooting this, looking at where the leaks could come from, double checking all the seals and whatnot, it's not coming from the sink itself, it's actually coming from the rotted out bottom of the garbage disposal itself. So we're gonna be replacing this garbage disposal, and I know that can sound like an intimidating job, but it actually isn't, and you don't really need a plumber for this job. Most garbage disposals that you purchase at a hardware store, Home Depot, Lowe's, or even Costco for that matter, come with all the tools that you need in order to replace them. There are a couple key things that you need to pay attention to, and that was Riley's hand. So I'm going to walk you through those things and make sure you don't miss them, and then we'll get this garbage disposal replaced, and then we'll test the new one. Alright, so the first thing that we got to do when we're replacing the garbage disposal, you'll see I don't have much room in here. That's because of my RO system that's right here, but that's okay. We don't need too much space to work with this. There are just a couple important things that you got to worry about before you begin any work on a garbage disposal, or really any work underneath the sink. The first thing that we got to do is your garbage disposal should plug in with a standard plug, just like this. This is the cord that's coming out of the bottom of the garbage disposal, and there's an outlet in the back there that you can see. So the first thing we got to do is just unplug the garbage disposal. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, now that the garbage disposal has been unplugged, it's a little bit safer to work under here. The next thing we got to do is we got to identify a couple pipes. So we have this white pipe that's going into the garbage disposal up here. This is actually coming from the dishwasher, which is right there. So that pipe's coming from the dishwasher. That's a drain line from the dishwasher. That's fine. We're going to have to remove that. The next thing that we have to identify is this pipe here. This is the main drain line. As you can see, it comes down and then it branches off to the drain of our double sink, which is over here on this side, and then it comes down and to the trap and then drains out the back wall over there. Okay, so we will have to disconnect these two lines here and also remove it from up here. It's actually not that hard to do, but the first thing we got to do is remove these two lines. You're gonna want a tray underneath or something to catch water. Sometimes these lines, if they haven't been disconnected in a while, they can be pretty gross. So we're gonna go ahead and disconnect those now, and then we'll get started. Alright, the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna undo the hose for the dishwasher, and you do that just by unscrewing this little hose clamp right here, and you can do that with a flathead screwdriver. Just turn it counterclockwise and it'll loosen right up. Now some water may drip out of this, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna pull it off and I'm gonna kind of angle it up so that no water drips down to the bottom. But if any water does, I've got my tray down there to catch anything just in case. Alright, that's one hose disconnected. Now we need to disconnect this pipe here, and then we can start removing the actual garbage disposal. Alright, to remove this second pipe, there's a little metal clamp right here. It's not really a clamp. This is this holds a gasket. There's a rubber gasket on the other side of this. So it's just a metal plate, and we're just going to unscrew this with our flathead screwdriver. And there's a screw on the other side as well. So we'll just pull these both off. Alright, with both of those screws off, you can actually slide this down, and this pipe will just slide right out of place, and you can pull off, there's a rubber gasket right in here that we can just pull out. Here's the rubber gasket. We'll save that just in case we need it, but I don't think we will. And now it's actually time to remove the garbage disposal here. But before we do that, I'm gonna show you what we're gonna replace it with. Hey guys, so this is what we're gonna replace our old garbage disposal with. This is a slimline American Standard food waste disposal. This is 1 1/4 horsepower, and this comes from Costco. This was on sale. Normally it's $100. This was on sale right now, $20 off, I believe. I think this is a good garbage disposal. Pretty powerful. 1 1/4 horsepower. I believe a regular garbage disposal or standard is like 1/3 horsepower. But I you know, don't quote me on that. I don't know for sure. I've replaced a number of garbage disposals, but not 100% clear on what the standard is for the horsepower. Either way, I believe this is much more powerful than the one that we have in there. It's called Slimline because it is a lot slimmer than the one that we have in there, but I believe this is a good replacement. It's also got a 12-year warranty, and that's great. We're gonna open it up and see real quick what's in the box, and then we'll finish up the replacement underneath the sink. All right, so let's go ahead and open this up. All right, let's pull the actual garbage disposal out. Let's see what we got. We got instructions, and we should have, there we go. There's a drain gasket. This is the part that goes in the sink. I'll show you guys where that goes. Here's the garbage disposal itself, and let's open this up. It is quite heavy, but that's okay. Alright, so inside we have a little drain stopper. That's nice, comes with a metal drain stopper. And we've got pipe. And here we go. Some more grommets and whatnot. This is another one of those metal plates that you saw me undo underneath the sink. It's got a replacement, which is great. We'll probably use that as well. And inside, wow, right here. There you go. You can actually see the inside of the garbage disposal. That's what it looks like in there. Now there's something important that you have to know before, let me stand this up, before you replace most garbage disposals. Okay, so this is the piece that's actually gonna attach to the sink. And this comes off of the garbage disposal, and then the garbage disposal will hang off of this piece. And I'll show you guys how that works. There's an existing piece like this on your sink, and most of the time you don't have to replace this piece. I believe in this case I will, just because I want everything to be new, and this is the piece that was specifically designed to hold this garbage disposal here. But the important thing to note is you've got 2 outlets. So this is actually an inlet, sorry. You've got two openings here. This opening is where the dishwasher drain pipe goes, that white pipe that we disconnected. That's gonna go right here. The other drain is right here. This is the main drain, and that's where the pipe is gonna connect here, and that's the one where, I'll show it to you under the sink, it'll make more sense down there. But what you have to note is if you look inside this top one, you'll see it's blocked. There's actually no inlet there. So what you actually have to do is you have to stick, I like to stick a screwdriver or something in there and just knock the end of it with a hammer, and you have to remove that block. If you don't remove that block, your dishwasher won't be able to drain and you're gonna run into some issues. So let's go ahead and remove that block. All right guys, this is how you remove that block. The easiest way I've found is just put a screwdriver in here, just hammer the end and it pops right out. And then you can pull it out. This is what it looks like. This is a plastic one, so this one was really easy to remove. There are some that are metal pieces in there, metal block. Those are a little harder, you just have to knock it a little harder and it'll come out. Anyway, let's go back under the sink and get this installed. All right, so the next part is, let's remove the old garbage disposal. This is really easy to do, but I need 2 hands to do it, so I'm gonna set the camera down and then show you what I'm doing. Basically, what you wanna do though, is you want to get a screwdriver. In this case I've got a Phillips head screwdriver, and you're gonna put it, there's little loops right up here. These loops are used to twist the garbage disposal into place and lock it on the bottom of the sink. So all you really got to do is put something in there. You can put a screwdriver. I like to use a screwdriver. So you can use this, you can just twist this the opposite direction and it should come right out. If you want, you can loosen these screws right here first. There are 3 of these screws and they kind of wedge everything into place. So we'll loosen these up and then we'll twist the garbage disposal out of place. All right, so now that I've loosened these screws a little bit, you can see I can turn it with my hand. It's really easy to get in here with the screwdriver and just rotate the garbage disposal. Just like that, you can see that it's rotating. Now it's gonna get to a point where it's just gonna fall. So I'm gonna hold it with 2 hands here. Okay, now let's go ahead and rotate this out of the way. And it's gonna drop, just like that. That's how you remove the old garbage disposal. Let's pull it out and we can take a look at it. So you can see garbage disposal is now gone and we just have an opening there. All right, so this is the old garbage disposal. You can see where it was leaking right out of the bottom here. It's really wet. Right here, water is just, let me see. Water is just streaming out of here. And the bottom is in pretty bad shape. Let's see, oh, this is a 1/2 horsepower Badger. Badger's not a bad brand, but I have no idea how old this is. There's probably a manufacturer date on here. Either way, we're gonna replace it with something much better. So let's take this out of the way. Let's take this out of the way and we'll just set this over there for now. And now we gotta work on just pulling that part out because we are gonna be replacing that with a new one that came with our new garbage disposal. So the first step for that is just to loosen up all of these screws under here. And these should come out pretty easily. Once you've got them loosened up, you can just use your hand, pull these out. You don't need to pull them out all the way, but you know, I like to do it. And there's 3 of them. There's one over here. Let me get a flathead for that one. I don't want to strip it. There we go. And we'll get that out. So I think I'll try to give it on camera, but if I press this up, you'll see there's a little retainment ring right here. That's what's keeping this on. So I'm gonna pry that retainment ring out of place with my screwdriver again. There we go. And then, as you can see, I pulled it out, retainment ring came out, and this part came out. Now, we can actually remove this with its gasket, let that fall right down, and we can actually push this up through the sink, and we can put the new one on. So this is what it looks like. I pushed it out from the bottom, and you're gonna wanna clean all this up. That's plumber's putty, we're gonna replace that. So we'll pull, just kind of flake this off. This is super old, so yeah, we'll clean all that up and then we'll get the new one in. So this is what it looks like when it's cleaned up here. Have a nice clean slate to work with, and we can put some plumber's putty on there and we can get the new drain put in, and then the new garbage disposal will go right there, and then we'll be back in business. All right, so here's the new drain. You can see my bead of plumber's putty around there, and we're just gonna drop that right in here, nice and tight, and that's gonna be how the new drain looks. All right, so now that we have that drain in place and it's drying, you do want to let it dry. It takes a few hours to dry before you can use it and put water in it and stuff like that. Now it's just a question of putting things on in the right order, and it's just basically the reverse order of what we did to take it off. So now that that's in place, you got a little gasket that's going to go around the bottom. I'm going to show you how to do this. And then you've got this part that goes around the bottom. That's the part we removed. And then you've got your retention ring, or I'm sorry, you've got this part with the screws. You remember that, we removed that. Then you've got your retention ring that goes on the bottom. And then it's finally time to mount this. So let's get the rest of this stuff in place. So this is called a fiber gasket, and this goes directly against the bottom of the sink. And we'll just put this right up here, just like that. Kind of stick it in place, right like that. And then this plate's gonna go up like this. And then we're gonna put our retention ring on. I'm gonna need 2 hands for this, hold on. All right, let's get this on. First the plate, and then this washer. All right, that's what it looks like when everything's in place. Now we do want to immediately tighten down those screws and let it dry, because those screws are gonna squish everything into place and seal it all good. You want to make sure these screws are nice and tight and sealed so everything stays in place and we don't get any leaks. So we'll tighten them all down. You want to make sure they're all tightened down equally so that your garbage disposal hangs evenly. All right, so we're gonna put the new garbage disposal in place. Pretty simple to do, just like when we removed the old one. Put this right up here, and then you're gonna rotate it into place. Okay. Once you get it halfway rotated, and you can tell because the loop will be right here in the middle, and you won't be able to move it much more. You can use your screwdriver to lock it into place, and I'll show you what that looks like. You'll know when it's locked into place because this will be facing where this pipe is, but not only that, it should snap. There we go, and that's what it looks like when it's fully in place. You can tell this loop is right up against this screw, so this portion won't rotate anymore. You can rotate the garbage disposal itself separate from that metal piece to kind of slide it into place, so it matches up with this pipe here. But now it's time to attach all the pipes, and then we can plug it in and make sure it works. All right, so I've got everything hooked up now. I did have to use the old gasket here, but that's okay. That gasket was still in good shape just because there wasn't enough room for this big rubber piece that they included with the garbage disposal, but it shouldn't be an issue. And then you just slide the dishwasher tube back up here, and you tighten down that hose clamp right there, which is nice and tight. And now, before we actually turn it on, plug it in and turn it on, I do want to run the water in there and make sure that nothing is leaking down here. So let's go ahead and do that. So we got the water turned on right now, and there is no dripping happening. Nothing going on right there. Water is draining really well. So let's turn the water off and let's plug in the garbage disposal. All right, garbage disposal is now plugged in. Let's go ahead and run some water and try it out. All right, you can hear it running, going really good. Turn it off. Now we can put the stuff all back under the sink, and we've replaced the garbage disposal. The last part that you have to install for your garbage disposal is this magnetic ring. Sometimes this is a magnetic ring, sometimes it's just a magnet that will stick on the side of the garbage disposal, and you just wrap this around the drain underneath the sink, and you can do this after you have it already installed. The point of this is it stops metal objects from going down, all the way down into your garbage disposal and causing a problem. You definitely don't want any metal in there. So let's go ahead and slide this ring on, and then we'll finish up the job. And that's what it looks like with the magnets in place. You can see the magnets going right around here, and that'll stop any metal objects from going into the garbage disposal. So while videotaping, the whole installation process takes about 30 minutes. If you don't have to make a video doing it, you can do this in about 15 minutes. It's pretty easy to do. You don't need a plumber for this, but that's how you replace the garbage disposal in your sink, as well as the drain and all the gasketing that comes along with it, so you don't have any more leaks and you have a working garbage disposal. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and thank you for joining me for another problem solved.